Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Kevin Jarvis. I'm the Director of Veterans Services in the City of Malden. Thinking too much about you. Welcome. Please come to attention and render the appropriate salute or place your hand over your heart for the Pledge of Allegiance to honor the flag that Jerry fought for. I pledge of allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much for coming. Jeremiah J. Kelleher was born on September 26, 1931, in Malden, Massachusetts, a place we all love. He was born to Irish immigrant parents named Cornelius Kelleher and Catherine Mitchell. Both had recently immigrated to the United States from Ireland around 1920. At the time of Jerry's birth, they were living at 227 Emerald Street. But they wound up living all over the city because every time they had another kid, he outgrew their classes. Typical immigrant families, great Irish Catholic family, and just tremendous people. I lived on Emerald Street, but I wasn't around 1931. But my dad was, and he was good friends with Jerry, just like everybody that ever met him. Jerry's father, Cornelius Daniel Kelleher, was born October 6, 1897, in Carrignima, Macroom, County Cork, Ireland. He arrived in the United States November 1920 at New York. Then he met Catherine and married shortly after arriving here, and they settled in Malden. The reason I'm saying this is, you'll hear in a minute. In June of 1922, at 4 years of age, Jerry's father filed a petition. I'm sorry, at 40 years of age, 24 years of age. Filed a petition to become a United States citizen while living again at another location, 49 Watt Street, Malden, Massachusetts. Jerry and his 7 brothers and sisters, Joseph, John, Cornelius, Thomas, Helen, Stephen, and Catherine, were all raised in Malden. I like to think that I might be related to Jerry because my great-uncle, Leo Kelleher, with an E in the middle, 1 street over from here, but his family immigrated 1 generation before, but his parents were born in Macroom, County Cork, Ireland. So if anyone's done the ancestry test, let me know, because I just did it. Leo was a great guy. He's a World War I veteran. His 3 brothers, all 4 of them served. They were in France during World War I. We have with us today a few elected officials. Peg Crow, Ward 1 City Councilor, who helped me with this event. Mayor Gary Christenson. Representative Paul Brodeur. State Senator Jason Lewis, and many other distinguished veterans, state police officers, retired police officers like me, and residents of Malden and the surrounding communities. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, please welcome our mayor, your mayor, the son of a Vietnam veteran, former Ward 1 councilor, and that's why we have such a great World War II monument at the park across the street, devoted supporter of Malden's veterans, Mayor Gary Christenson.
Over the last 6 years, I have learned from meeting with countless students at the Immigrant Learning Center that what separates our nation from the rest are the unique opportunities for a better life in this country. America is truly the land of opportunity and a beacon of hope to the rest of the world because of extraordinary heroes like Jerry Kelleher. From his fearless service in Korea to his commitment as a state trooper to being a devoted family man, he dedicated his life to others and to his country. Jerry was raised in Malden and enlisted in the United States Army in 1948. During the Korean War, he served in combat with bravery and distinction and earned, among several other medals and awards, the Bronze Star Medal with the V device to denote heroism. And if serving his country with valor wasn't enough, following the war, he returned to Malden to raise his family and to continue his commitment to service. First, as a police officer with the former Metropolitan District Commission, and then with the Massachusetts State Police, where he was honored to wear badge number 1 until his retirement. Back in 2001, as I contemplated a school committee run, I asked for advice as to how best to go about it. An overwhelming response was that I should seek out Jerry Kelleher, not just because he was an admired and esteemed war hero, but mostly because he was someone who was well versed in the subject of service to your community. Service. That very word defines who Jerry was and how he lived his life. John F. Kennedy once said that a nation reveals itself not only by the men it produces, but also by the men it honors, the men it remembers. Today we honor a true patriot, a gentle giant, with a memorial befitting for all that he meant to his community and to his country. This square will remind us and future generations of Jerry's selflessness, his sacrifice and bravery, and for the part he played in advancing the cause of freedom and peace so that we would have opportunities. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time I'd like to introduce your state senator, Jason Lewis, an immigrant to this country, a proud American, and a friend to the veterans.
Good morning, everyone. I'm honored to join the mayor, other city officials, and many members of the Kelleher family on this special occasion as we dedicate a memorial to a true American hero. It seems to me that Jerry Kelleher truly epitomizes what makes America great. His parents were immigrants to this country, leaving Ireland so they could find opportunity here in America and no doubt start a new life. As a young man, we know that Jerry answered the call to service and he fought bravely in Korea, saving the lives of his wounded comrades. And then after returning home here to Malden, he continued to serve his community as a police officer and as a state trooper, and was very active in civic life. It's clear that Jerry put service above self throughout his life. I hope that the young boys and girls who live here in this neighborhood for years to come will look up at this memorial and they'll take the time to learn a little bit about who Jerry Kelleher was. They will feel proud to be growing up in the same city where Jerry lived, and perhaps some will even be inspired to follow in his footsteps and serve their country, their community, when they grow up. I want to thank Mayor Christenson, Councilor Crow, our amazing Veterans Services Officer Kevin Jarvis, and all the members of the Kelleher family for all your efforts to make this memorial a reality. Thank you.
Gene, now how did Jerry's parents meet, on the boat over or when they got here?
At a dance.
At a dance.
Yes.
Okay. Make a movie out of that.
Look at all these people.
Jerry Kelleher enlisted in the United States Army on a 2-year enlistment on December 29, 1948, at the age of 17. He was involuntarily extended to serve an additional 1 year, and it turned into a little longer, and was honorably discharged on January 2, 1952. For his service in Korea, Jerry Kelleher was awarded the Korean Service Medal with 5 bronze battle stars. He participated in 5 battles, not 1, not 2, but 5. And I think most of you know the story. In the first one, he received gunshots in both legs, wounded in both legs, but sent back to Japan where he was patched up, treated, and deemed fit for service again, and sent back to the front lines. And then again, in the second or third battle, there's 4 wounded soldiers on the battlefield, Jerry decides to go down one at a time and carry him back to safety. And then later on, I imagine it's in the last 5th battle that Jerry participated in, got hit in the back with shrapnel. And he told me that story a couple of times. And only because I had a prod it out of him. He wasn't one to talk about himself, of course. And what a tremendous guy. You can't make it up. I met a lot of men and women over the years who were military heroes. On one day a few years ago, I met 50 Medal of Honor recipients in Boston at their National Medal of Honor Society. And again, just like Jerry, very humble, didn't talk about themselves, always talked about their fellow veterans. Jerry was a good friend of my dad's. My dad was 20 years older than Jerry. I'm 20 years younger. But I remember talking to Jerry with my dad down at the Irish American when I was home on military leave or other assignments around the country. And, you know, he's a president of the Irish American. Everybody loved Jerry. And as a young guy, I didn't really pay much attention. But as I got older and became a veteran myself, got into law enforcement, I looked up to people like Jerry, just like these state troopers do now. They'll be thinking of him the rest of their life. I want to read Jerry's Bronze Star citation because it's so impressive. The President of the United States of America authorized on August 24, 1962, that Private First Class Jeremiah J. Kelleher be awarded the Bronze Star Medal for heroic achievement while serving with Company F, 5th Cavalry Regiment, 1st Cavalry Division, in action against the enemy on November 2nd, 1950. Near Yongsan-dong, Korea. I can never quite get all that out. But that's what it says. While his company was attacked by a numerically superior enemy to assist a friendly unit, Private Kelleher saw four wounded comrades in the open field. He was exposed to heavy smells on fire at the time. Without hesitation or regard to his own safety, Private First Class Kelleher, voluntarily rushed to their aid and evacuated them to the safety of friendly lines. His selfless courage and devotion to duty in the face of enemy fire contributed materially to saving the lives of his comrades and were an inspiration to those serving with him. Private First Class Kelleher's heroic act reflects great credit upon himself and the military service and the United States Army, but also for his heroism on the battlefield that day and for his courageous valor in Korea. Jerry was awarded not only a Bronze Star Medal, but 2 Purple Hearts for his injuries received, which bookended his heroism. That would be a good move. He was also presented with the Combat Infantryman's Badge and numerous other awards. But Jerry just didn't stop serving his country when he got out of the Army. He also served his community and his family. And he was the president of the Irish American Club and retired from the Massachusetts State Police in 2006, wearing badge number 1 as the senior officer in their corps. After Jerry was discharged from the U.S. Army, he married Roseanne Solly and they raised a large family. Sadly, Roseanne died young in her late 30s. Jerry was a single parent with 7 kids.
8 kids.
I mean 8 kids. Hey, this is difficult to keep up with. A year or so later, Jerry was lucky enough to meet Jean Bershon in 1974, and they were married in 1975. And they were lucky enough to raise the 12 children together during their 41 years. Okay, it's cold enough I can't move my fingers. Jerry died on November 2nd, 2016. But you don't have to feel sorry for Jerry. He lived a very productive life, faithfully serving his country, community, but most importantly, his family. I asked Jerry about his injuries and the circumstances surrounding his heroic deeds. He said, "Hey, Kevin, I was one of the lucky ones. I got to come home." He told me that Malden lost 17 Malden men during the Korean War, and also about the hundreds of others who served and were wounded. You all remember when Jerry was our Grand Marshal on Veterans Day 2015, we had NECN come out. I guess All the other cities canceled their parades in the rain, but not Malden. Jerry was so proud. You can still Google NECN Malden Parade, and up will come a 2-minute clip. And Jerry Kelleher is featured prominently throughout that clip. So do it when you get home today. You'll feel good. That coverage was very impressive. I showed it to Jean the other day, sitting at her table at the house. We spent a couple hours talking. Guess I didn't write down the number of kids. I don't have any kids, so I don't have to keep up with my math. You know? In May 2016, just 6 months before Jerry died, I had the honor of introducing him to a spillover crowd of about 250 people at Hugh O'Neill's in Malden Square. Jerry was the honored guest at a fundraiser called Patty's Gives Back. It was the idea of an Irish immigrant named Sean Cunningham, who's also from Macroom, Connecticut. Sean and his trusty leprechauns, including Jerry Kelleher that day, raised $35,000 in 8 hours. That money went to the Fisher House. It's a place at the VA hospital grounds in West Roxbury to take care of family. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me today as we officially dedicate the PFC Jerry Kelleher Memorial Square. I want to thank today our State Police Honor Guard, all the Malden police and Malden firefighters who are here today, but most importantly, these men in uniform, the uniform that Jerry Kelleher wore until he retired. These state troopers are Kurt Bordone, David Nicastro, Daniel Etchion, and Philip Puccia. So remember today, as you try to enjoy the Veterans Day weekend, which you will, because I expect a lot of you tomorrow morning at 11 o'clock to be down at Dever Park, where we're going to unveil 3 large bronze plaques with the names of 2,821 Malden men and women that served in World War I, to include 75 who died, and they'll have gold stars in front of their names. And because I've been doing my ancestry on those Irish side, I have about 20 relatives on that one that I didn't know a year and a half ago when I started this project, along with Gary Christenson, who said, we have 18 months to do it, we're going to get it done. Thank you, Gary. So these flags stand for freedom, which has come at a great cost to our veterans, like Jerry Kelleher and his comrades that died in the Korean War. He answered his nation's call as a young man, was sent to a foreign land to preserve democracy, and he saved American lives. But he also saved Koreans who were being persecuted. Jerry always put his family first, did his best. Jerry's family and friends are gathered here today with us, as well as countless other men and women from Malden who have always been very proud of Jerry and still are. I know the family, plans on going back to the Moose afterwards, and would invite all of you to come and spend a minute or two honoring Jerry's proud past in the memory of Jerry. As we pass this location in the future, we will always remember Jerry's service and sacrifice, serving his nation during the Korean War, as well as his service and dedication to his family, his fellow law enforcement officers, and the community of Malden. Before I finish, I just want to mention that Jerry's children's names. Hopefully I'll get them all right. Diane, Jerry, who's deceased, Michael, Margaret, Susan, Kevin, Pauline, Doreen, Tommy, Laura, Mark, who's deceased, and Bob. Thank you for coming out today to participate in this great event as we honor a true American and Malden girl. Thank you.